What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 4 of my Total Warhammer 3 Zhatan the Black Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we have taken the Turtle Gate and destroyed the USAC at the Foundry of Bones, leaving Village without a vassal, as well as his faction in pretty bad shape. It looks like his army is still alive somewhere, though I have no idea where, perhaps at the Red Fortress itself, and though I feel like he still can't go past the Great Bastion, so I'm not entirely sure what's happening. He might be in the process of being chased by Miao Ying, for example. It is a distinct possibility. In addition to that, we have been able to begin recruiting more armies, or at the very least one new army, of Mr. Scaff Ironpick, our first Sorcerer Prophet of Hashut, and he looks like a happy fella, and we're going to complete his army and then move this way towards Blizzard Peak and towards fighting Grimgor, which I'm pretty excited about. Now, we also have a Castellan on the field who is a greedy man, and the reason that we wanted that was because Zhatan gets into a lot of fights, and he has this guy, who is also greedy. Might as well stack those things, and ooh, also while we're at it, let's get to you, Piercing Bolts of Burning. Forgot that you had leveled up. Hopefully by taking the Red Fortress we can get Zhatan to level 12 and get all of his buffs, which will help fix our money situation, which is kind of in bad shape. Next up, Zhatan, you're moving to the Red Fortress. And okay, so there is an army there, damn. I was thinking that since we hadn't sighted... Oh, there he is. No, he's sieging Wei Jin. Okay. Well, he may be sieging Wei Jin, but he's not here. And if he can't teleport, then either this guy attacks us, in which case we fight, or he doesn't, in which case he loses the Red Fortress. I think either way, we should be okay. Now, we do still have money to spend, and I think we are going to spend it, but we are going to swap you back to, let's say... We'll actually be able to get the battlements up and running the next level relatively soon. And we do want to upgrade the mine shaft as well to get more raw materials. And, oh right, we want the Fortress of Eyes upgraded. Alright, so here's what we'll do. In this case, we will go for... Yeah, let's go for Masterful Architects to reduce the cost of that. Then, Ironstorm is being upgraded, and what we will do is have you build a few more units. Let's Mr. Recruiter Damonzork. Let's have you get... Let's have you get 3 Hobgoblin Cutthroats, and then maybe 3 Hobgobbo Archers, and a couple of Hobgobbo Sneaky Gits, and that should be the army. We need 10 troops, unless I'm mistaken. Actually, probably less, because we'll get a few more Chaos Dwarfs in here as well. Just gotta be careful with completely going bankrupt here, as it is a distinct possibility. Is this convoy back? Oh, yes it is. Now we can send it out. And the question is, do we want to send it out? And we could return with labor, but I'm not sure that we actually want to do so right now. And as weird as that may sound, mostly because it'll cost money and we need money for various things. Yeah, you know what, let's wait a turn or two and then maybe we'll send them out. We also have the armament cost for increasing capacity about to be reduced, which is why we've been waiting to increase that capacity, and we are getting a decent amount of armaments as well. Anything else? Oh, they're fighting Grimgor. That's nice. Are they willing to do any kind of agreements? I keep seeing these buffs in our tech tree for trade and stuff, and we can't make good use of it as yet. Yeah, we'll definitely get a few things. There's some really nice things like Conclave Dominance here. Tower settlement buildings gain an additional 2 Conclave influence per turn. That is really strong. And we should try to go towards it. And we do have to go through Malicious Compliance, which is great to get to it. So this line should probably take priority as soon as we are done with the basics of industry and the basics of... military. Raw materials output plus 10% income from scavenger building. There's some decent stuff here as well. We're not using the convoys to a crazy degree yet, but I think it'll ramp up over time as we go. Anyway, with nothing else to build, I believe we're going to end the turn, at least until the commandments have switched, so let's end the turn. And convoy dispatch available... Right. But then I said that we can't afford to send it for anything. Yeah, no, we'll skip it. And we'll go next turn. Or whatever turn we can do something with. Alright, I do wonder whether Village will succeed at taking Wei Jin, or whether he'll just get destroyed by Miao Ying, in which case we won't have to worry about him at all. Either way, the Red Fortress is open to attack, and I do imagine we should be able to take it over here. Our money's about to go not so great, but we should be able to get a decent amount of... of reward for that. We pay money for reducing the time to get a bunch of labor. See, the problem is... Well, you know what? 500 isn't actually that bad. You know what? I wasn't going to pay the money, but we can pay the guide. I want to read this, though. A guide has tracked down our convoy, offering to lead the way to our destination in exchange for a reasonable donation to his pockets. His price is frankly extortionate, but as they say in business, time is of the essence. Yeah, sure enough. Ah, damn, You know what this screen should have? It should say... How many turns left until your journey is complete? Like, there's not enough in this UI, and, like, you can't go past it. Like, there's several things that are similar to this in the game that would really benefit if you could see stuff. Oh, wow, Draika's been destroyed. Ah, no. I love Draika. That's unfortunate. I absolutely simp for Draika. Anyway, varied training, yeah, that's fine. We are going to use those armaments shortly, and we can indeed reach the Red Fortress. Beautiful. Alrighty. And, oh, Village has taken Wei Jin. Huh. I wonder, if he has Wei Jin occupied, is he then able to teleport past the Bastion? Either way, it looks like he'll be attacking Turtle Gate next turn, which means he'll probably take it, but we will have taken the Red Fortress by then. Won't be with our Castellans, sadly, but we'll get there eventually. Alright, and then you are going to keep recruiting. I'm just going to do this right now before I forget, because there's a distinct possibility that I will. Get you some Hobgoblin Archers there, friendo. Do want to keep an eye on labor. I'd love to pop that set an example. We can't do it right now, and nor can we do it here. At least not yet. And there is a distinct possibility that we will be able to after we take that territory. You are not going to recruit for a few more turns, but we do want to upgrade, I think, you factory, or... Okay, wait, Bloodwind Keep is already being upgraded. Yeah, okay, fine, we'll... Wait. If we take the Red Fortress... Nah, we'll have to wait until the commandment is up anyway. Okay, never mind. I was about to say maybe we can upgrade that, but let's upgrade the Fortress of Eyes here. And we'll still want to upgrade the mine shaft. You know what, let's just upgrade it right now, because it'll enable us after this immediately to switch back towards military doctrine, as we will be spending armaments shortly. Now we attack. Zhatan, here we go. It is the capital territory. We got 4 units of trolls to contend with, and a decent amount of enemy range units, but I'm reasonably confident in your capability after you've taken out the Kazakh. Alrighty, that is one happy Taurus just doing spins in the air. Can't, man, the way this thing flies, I mean, how dizzy is Zhatan at this point? I'm pretty sure like 8 seconds of this and I'd be throwing up and just sliding off the bull. Alright, I was hoping it would do another one of those happy little spin things that it was doing before, but anyway, here we go, and we are going to get another siege going. You know what I've also realized? In the last few episodes, we've essentially been destroying a faction with every episode, right? So episode 2 was the destruction of the Kazakh, then followed next by the Yusak, and then hopefully soon to be followed by a Village's faction as well. We also don't have a lot of enemies deployed here right now, and I'm just going to speed this up while we knock those towers down, just like the way that we fought the Kazakh previously. Alrighty, they do have some range units though in the form of the pink horrors of Zincha on the walls, but perhaps we can do some damage with Zhatan. His melee defense is still quite low though, and his HP isn't actually all that high on the Bale Taurus either, so we do have to be concerned about him taking too much damage. That said, the monstrous flyers on top of walls are always just such a big deal for enemies to deal with, especially if you can rear charge an enemy and knock a bunch of them off the wall, so we're going to give that a try with Zhatan. Anyway, the hat cannon is continuing to knock the towers down here, and once it is done, we are going to move the rest of our troops in. But I'm going to continue at max speed, mostly because we've already seen plenty of tower bombardment at this stage in the game. Alrighty, that thing does fire fairly slow as well. I'd be very curious to compare it to other artillery pieces as we go. Anyway, finally, seeing that the tower is, if not destroyed, getting very close to it, a couple more shots should take care of it. We can start moving in the rest of our army. We do have a gate to break through, and unlike the battle against, I believe it was the Kazakh, we don't have that tank ram to rely upon. There we go, down goes the tower. And now we can move the rest of our units forward. There we go. Alrighty, and we're going to start with the various gobos that can shoot the enemies on top of the walls. Look like they're going to annoy the enemy exalted hero at least a little bit, but that was not from an order by me. It was just the closest units for them to fire. I've definitely seen that enemies have a kind of a tendency to target heroes on top of walls, or enemies. Units have a kind of bad tendency to target other units on top of walls with their range. It's a complete waste, like 99.9% of the time. With the possible exception of, I don't know, Jezzail's firing from a higher elevation point. Like if we had Jezzail's, and I would imagine that the maybe the Fireglaves can do the same sort of thing. Firing from up here would be able to actually fire over, because they have an arc despite being a bullet sort of unit. Used that many times in my Ikit campaign to fire on top of enemy walls. And Jezzail's are shockingly forgiving. Like they're way more forgiving in terms of where you position them than the blunderbusses are. Alright, well, regardless, here we go. Zhatan's going to drop in. We've positioned him, and we're going to charge him down at the pink horrors. One goes flying, but it doesn't look like... a few more go flying, actually. There we go. Not a crazy... and a few more go flying. Alrighty, well, that's exactly what we wanted to achieve. Damage the pink horrors and prevent them from firing, but we're not going to stay and get damaged by the enemy marauders either. And just going to back off rather than take hits. Otherwise, the enemy is taking... see what I mean? Still focusing on the enemy hero. You gotta be manually told to focus the marauders, otherwise they'll waste all their ammunition on useless targets. There we go, much better. Getting a few shots from our blunderbusses, but I imagine that they can't really fire on walls either. Too many of those impacts will hit the Merlins here, yeah. And that's fine, though. Looks like the damage on the walls is, if not crazy severe, is doing okay. We very badly hurt this Marauder unit, and it looks like the pink horrors are going to drop as well, especially with Zhatan continuing to work on them. Too bad we don't have any Vargeists. But that's okay. Zhatan should be powerful enough to sweep the walls by himself, more or less, and it looks like he's managed to badly damage the pink horrors enough that they are already in banishment. Few more hits, and we are going to get out of here again, but it does look like most of the enemy are in pretty bad shape, and ooh, looks like the enemy exalted hero wants to play. Well, if he wants to play, Zhatan is perfectly willing to do it. We're going to pop the armor of Gazrak to increase our damage resistance by 30%, combine it with the melee defense increase from the cascading fire cloak, while Zhatan duels the exalted hero. Alrighty. Obviously, Zhatan doesn't have all of his fighty capabilities yet, since we haven't built him out yet, but with all of these buffs, he should be more than capable of dealing with a single exalted hero. Though exalted heroes are pretty scary, well, heroes, and can do very well at damaging lords and other heroes, so we do have to watch out, especially as the enemy is still supporting the hero with all of these marauders with great axes. There we go. I love that jumping up animation. And let's see what we're looking at now. Zhatan has nearly killed the enemy exalted hero, who is now broken, terrified, and routing. Or, well, broken, I already said. Zhatan has lost a little bit over half HP himself, though. Really need to get that regeneration up and running, so that he doesn't take as much damage. Huh. The exalted hero flew off the wall. Oh, but he got back up. Man, I was wondering if that would have actually killed him, like it would a regular unit, but apparently the hero units are immune to that. Anyway, the last of the marauders on the walls are being cleared out, and thus we are going to chase down the exalted hero while we begin to work on the enemy gates. Our orc laborers are going to whack away at it with their big old clubs until the gate is down. And unlike SFO, it should be fairly quick to do so. Also, looks like, oh yes, we've managed to chase down the exalted hero, and while we're here, since these units are routing and not shattered, we are going to chase them a little bit and destroy them, and then possibly even come back to take out the enemy Chaos Sorcerer. A very Zhatan heavy episode so far, as he's done most of the action, but I'm sure there's plenty more where that came from. Look at all those units that we still haven't engaged, and we now do have to be careful because Zhatan is quite hurt and there's a lot of enemies remaining. Fortunately, the gate goes down. The enemy Chaos Sorcerer is still up here, but not for long, as Zhatan wants at least one more kill. Ooh, and there's a... he's gonna use Spirit Leech, but he's going to waste it on the warriors rather than popping it on Zhatan. Though if Zhatan had been hit with it, he probably could have countered it with his armor buff. Is he dead? Is he dead? Somebody poke him with a stick. Alright, now, we are good. It looks like both of the enemy heroes have been seen off. There is still an enemy lord on the field, but we are in the settlement now. And once again, establishing a beachhead. The orc laborers are going to move forward. I'm going to speed this up a little bit as these guys try to take position. And Zhatan's gonna drop down. Those marauders, they rallied to come back, only for Zhatan to see them coming back and jump down on them and force them to shatter. Perfect. Especially considering he's pretty badly damaged. Alrighty, now we're not going to do... Very nice, very nice. We're not going to fight any full HP units, but these units that were before broken by Zhatan might as well be completely shattered by him as well. Oh, and here comes some Chaos Warriors. No thanks, we're gonna back off since we are damaged, and especially since we've started to establish our beachhead. Nice shot from our Demon Smith there. Looks like he knocked one unit down, and killed one unit by the looks of it as well. More and more units moving into the city. Goblin cutthroats are in. Just gotta wait for our archers to move in, and our archers are going to be a priority because they're gonna head on top of the walls. Now it's as if we're the ones who have the defensive walls. It's like we sallied out and the rest of our units are supporting us from on top of the wall there. Funnily enough, I remember using this exact strategy in my own regular Dwarf Belegar campaign, though that was with a bunch of axe throwers, like, I don't know, like 5 units of axe throwers chucking axes down from on top of the walls inside the city. It was quite entertaining as well. There's a distinct lack of throwing axes on you gobos, but you're probably too weak to chuck those anyway, and that's why Nobbler trappers, for example, chuck daggers instead. Alrighty, well, you gotta love the support we have from these walls. Enemy is trying to move in, but we have a lot of fire coming down on them. We also now have our Grim Gunners who have moved in and are going to start working together with the Demon Smith. So lots of range support is now available. Ah, damn. They were just about to fire too, and some doggos came in. Come on now. Alright, try again, take those blunderbusses back out. And though it looks like it might be difficult to fire on these guys, at least with the blunderbusses, we still have access to our archers, and aha! The enemy did try to go after Zhatan with some of their furies, but unfortunately for them, Zhatan simply popped his snare, stopping them in their tracks and allowing both the gunners and the archers to knock them out. And yeah, despite the fact that once again this thing does do a minus 24 melee defense, I do have a tendency, I think, to use it more like Prey of Anathrema to stop the enemy and then target them with range units instead. Anyway, since our blunderbusses can't really target these guys, we're just going to send more orc laborers and goblin cutthroats in. Especially since the damage primarily being dealt to the enemy is now going to be from the archers on top of the walls, at least until they run out of ammunition. We are going to send in some dwarf warriors to help out as well, however, just to make sure that these guys die a little bit quicker. We want to get all these piles of trolls out of here before the enemy moves in with the rest of their reinforcements. There are still plenty of enemy units on the field after all, and the balance of power is only about 60, maybe 65% in our favor. Unfortunately, the enemy is starting to move away from the walls, and, well, I suppose even if it didn't, most of our archers are pretty much out of ammunition already. The blunderbusses, however, are not and are going to make the rest of this episode, or at least the rest of this battle, their time to shine. Though to be fair, pretty much every episode has been their time to shine so far. I don't see that changing all that much either. Alright, they are taking a little bit of damage from the enemy towers here, which are going to be very difficult to knock down, unfortunately. Might actually be better to just straight up kill all the enemy units that we can and then just capture the tower locations to bring them down. Anyway, the orc laborers are moving back into it. Looks like the enemy has got a decent pile of marauder horsemen out there, though it'll be a much smaller pile after a few volleys from these guys. Alright, they're chucking their magical javelins at us, but I don't think those are scarier than what we've got firing at them. Or scarier, rather. Fireball coming in. And we must demonstrate that it is Hashut who is the master of fire, and not Tzeentch. Which I think we're doing pretty aptly in this particular battle so far. Even with the relative lack of artillery and too many fire units. Anyway, looks like the Marauders are going to be rushing on out of there. They're not going to be having a good time. We are moving in our piles of laborers and various gobos as the first units, and the rest of the Dowies are acting lurefully, I should say, staying behind them and waiting for their opportune moment to strike. But also, why take damage? Once again, tire the enemy out, hit them with the range, with the blunderbusses. Shadow from Zhatan there. And then we can move the Zharr in once the enemy has been damaged. And those gobos that we are so contemptuous of have lost a few lives as well. And just because it's entertaining, if nothing else. Alrighty, looks like some Chaos Warriors are going to move in. We've been biding our time a little bit, and the Grim Gunners are going to begin to fire now together with the Piercing Bolts of Burning Spell. And to take a look at that, there we go. Waited to time that at the same time. If you're wondering why, it's because these guys knock stuff back, right? The Grim Gunners / the blunderbusses knock stuff back, so firing into this before casting the spell would have meant knocking the units around and taking less damage, but then once the spell had come down, we were free to fire. Pretty much at the same time or immediately after. And there we go. It looks like they do knock the Marauders back, but the Chaos Warriors actually just sort of fall down. Whatever, it all works for me. As long as they're dead. Alright, and we got more trolls moving in, a full HP unit of trolls this time, and ooh, a little bit of a bait there as they switch targets and immediately charge towards our blunderbusses, or actually towards our demonsmith. Fortunately, we have been keeping our dwarf warriors back. And they should be able to hold it. Okay, maybe not that guy. That guy's kind of dead. And they should be able to hold the trolls off. Here come the great weapons as well, and even Zhatan to help out, because we have to protect our blunderbusses and our demonsmith, as we're gonna need those guys to dish out the damage for us. And there we go. We are keeping Zhatan back, however, just generally speaking in this battle, because, well, he's still pretty badly beat up. He's already done plenty of work. He doesn't need to do too much more. Anyway, the battle continues. The enemy is still holding ground, but that does mean that as long as it does, it will continue to blob up. And every time it blobs up, it becomes susceptible to another piercing bolts and burning. Gotta love that spell, and the trolls aren't happy about it because of their fire weakness. And it looks like they're wavering as well. Very nice. Alright, some more units moving in from the sides. We can fire point blank into them with those blunderbusses. Glorious. Just listening to the sound of the blunderbusses. And these trolls, I believe, are actually running away. We're just trying to chase them off with both of our heroes. Gordas is in here as well. I haven't talked about Gordas this entire battle. He's the happiest goblin. There you go. Gotta love the wolf mount that he has now, especially because of the 92 speed that it offers and allows him to catch really fast-moving units. Otherwise, it looks like more and more of the enemy are backing up. Just gotta kill a few more, and our units continue to rush down this thoroughfare. Fortunately, the enemy doesn't have any scary spells or a hell cannon to punish us for this. Alright, send those Zinshans running, show them who the Masters of Fire are. Come on now. Balance of power is about 80% in our favor. I'm just gonna, let's see. Oh, right, we've also have the various Hobgoblin sneaky gits, who we haven't been using in this particular battle. Kind of like last battle, I wanted to save them just in case we had to, well, I guess this would have been several battles ago, last siege battle, major siege battle against the Kazakh. I wanted to once again save them just in case we needed them to go around, but clearly this is similarly not going to be the case. And the contingency is no longer necessary. And there we go. With that, the rest of the army shatters. They still had plenty of units remaining, but no more fight in them, and they will give up Village's capital to Zhatan. And that means everything north of the wall, or at least on this side of the map, is ours, and we can move southward. Beautiful. Alrighty, very nice. Zhatan did take damage once again, but he also did 10k himself and got nearly 100 kills. 20k damage on the Demonsmith Sorcerer of Fire, which is quite respectable as well. Unfortunately, our Hat Cannon did not do too much in this particular situation as, well, we couldn't really use the Death Shriek rockets, but had to use that single blast to destroy the towers. Another 20k on the Grim Gunners, who have been doing a gloriously grim job, and there we go. 300 labor as well as 2k money for that, and a decent amount of XP, though whether it's enough remains to be seen. We are going to occupy the place as a tower, obviously. And there we go, a brutal business activated. Oh, that's good for our gobos if nothing else. And Zhatan has his Lamassu as well. Believed to be a rare mutation of the Great Taurus, the magical Lamassu are the living embodiment of the Darklands' rage, exhaling sorcerous clouds to protect their riders. Lovely. And that puts him at level 12. Perfect. Just out of curiosity, Potion of Speed, the Withering, Enfeebling Foe. Okay, so these are the bound spells on the Lamassu, and the Withering, while I don't generally like the spell for single casts, or single targets, the fact that it gives the leadership reduction will combine with combined with Zhatan stuff in general. On top of that, Sorceress Miasma negates magical weapons within the effect area, which should be pretty nice as well. Now, Zhatan, you're level 12, you have 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6 points you need, but only 5 points to spend, so we'll have to pick and choose. -1. Subjugator, definitely. Casualties, captured income, labor, it's all stuff that we're stacking between Tyrant and our greedy followers. So, yes, definitely regeneration. And, oh man, this is a really hard choice. You know, as weird as it may seem... No, actually, enemy leadership reduction. Power up for the rest of our army. Melee defense and armor, quite nice. Well, we have to take upkeep. Absolutely have to. I know it's only 1 level and we'll get it back. Zhatan constantly gets hurt. I guess we're gonna go with the Laughing Killer and leave Haughty Resilience, but it's so good as well. But I assume we can survive, and but it buffs the entire army, damn it. Do we actually skip the regeneration for a round? Maybe we skip the regeneration for a round. Alright, fine. Fine, game. If that's the way you want it. We'll get Laughing Killer. And just because of the enemy leadership reduction. If it wasn't for the leadership, I wouldn't really care about the Perfect Vigor so much. But there we go. Now our money is back at 1,000 gold per turn. We also got Mr. Gordas, who has leveled up, so another 2 points into, well, actually 1 point into Stickum. Unless... you know what? Then summoning a unit of Hobgoblin Cutthroats is going to be too good. Let's get Stickum so that we can get the gits next time around. We'll also be able to get Fated, which we don't really care about, but Sneaky we very much do. So we'll start having to go through this as soon as we get the gits and probably replenish troops as well. What does they need stabbing again? Oh right, it's the melee defense and armor reduction hex, which is nice. Specifically target a lord. Alrighty, and now the Red Fortress, we cannot upgrade it yet, but we should be able to fairly quickly, in fact, next turn. And for that, we will want to immediately go into Masterful Architects. We don't want to... you know what? We're going to build raw materials immediately. I know we could reduce it a little bit, but we need money. Man, do we need money. And we'll want to upgrade you to tier 2 immediately. We're also now gaining 12 Conclave influence per turn. Quite lovely. Alright, and the village has taken away Jin. I am curious to see what he'll do. Most likely to Turtle Gate, but if we can destroy him there, then take away Jin for ourselves, wouldn't that be just swell? Also, how's Lokir doing? He doesn't seem to like us a crazy amount, but I'm willing to bet that if we declare war on factions like the Dead Flag Fleet, 0. Okay, like the Jade Custodians, 3.4, and we could become friendly with him. You guys let me know what you think about that. Should we be friendly with Lokir? He is occupying territory that is green, and should thus belong to us. But Hydras are a fire monster, and would work fairly well with the Warhosts of Hashut. Yeah, we'll have to consider that. Then again, there are other Dark Elves which we could ally with. It doesn't necessarily have to be. Lokir. It's just that we've got territory here. It's the reason we've killed Village, or otherwise I would have left him alone. Anyway, we got 3.2k to spend. We could get some labor. In fact, oh wow. Okay, now you know what? We're gonna set an example now to keep that public order in decent shape, especially since we got all that extra labor. Your public order also needs fixing. And we could pop this construction immediately. And I think we will. And then, having done this at Bloodwind Keep... Great tourist for Pithuk as well. Oh, nice. Having done this at Bloodwind Keep, we are able to do 2 things. First of all, we need the tribute collectors. Oh, damn, you know what? I shouldn't have done that without the... without this. Alright, so here's what we'll do. You have to recruit at least a few more units. That will get a few more Dwarven units here as well. Let's say 1 unit of Hobgoblin Archer. I don't want to go too heavy on the range units, but they are quite useful. And then 2 units of Sneaky Gits. That feels like it might not be enough melee. Not horrible, though. Yeah, you know what, let's do it. 2 Sneaky Gits. That will complete the need for this particular commandment, which will allow us to switch to Masterful Architects, wherein we will be upgrading stuff and getting the Ironworks next turn. Yes. Excited about that, and we'll have to build either an Iron Demon, a Skullcracker, or a Magma Cannon. Magma Cannon's the cheapest, but it is also a very long-range artillery piece, and probably a little bit more accurate at range than the Death Shrieker rockets are, which have been fairly inaccurate at times. I have to think about how best to use these particular pieces. Anyway, let's see what else we have to do. Scaff, you have to stay here. In fact, is there anything beneficial from your stances? No. I'm really disappointed about channeling stance. What's the magic here, though? +5. At least your magic is growing, so you will get some mileage out of that. We can't spend any more labor at the current time, but that's just fine. And these guys are going to have 2 full stacks by the time we get to them. But oh well. And Bloodwind Keep, we're getting ready to upgrade you. Red Fortress, we're getting ready to upgrade you as well, so everything is fine there. We do need to upgrade this outpost as fast as possible, though, because we need more raw materials out of it. So that, you know what, it's about time to build another armaments building as well. Anyway, let's see about research before we end the turn here. So we just did varied training, which is quite useful. Martial training, recruit rank, and unit experience gets kind of meh. Yeah, this one doesn't give us anything too crazy useful. Recruitment cost reduction for mandatory service, eh? I don't think we can spend the armaments right now, but it is certainly something to consider in the near future. We could go for Hobgoblin Quartermasters, as we are still using quite a lot of Hobgoblins. You know what, I think we will. Let's go for Hobgoblin Quartermasters, and then after this is done, we're going to start moving through Malicious Compliance, despite the expense, and towards Conclave Dominance, which is going to provide a lot of benefits to us. There's a few things that are really strong in industry as well that we will also want to take a look at. But I still think that, well... And we're not using convoys, isn't it? You know what? When we start using convoys a lot, maybe we'll take a look at some of the stuff. And if we have a surplus of any raw materials, we'll probably pick these things just for the construction cost reductions. It's just that we don't currently have the raw material surplus. And it's another reason why we want to build another raw material building here. Anyway, that I believe is good, so we can skip the rest of this. Convoy dispatch available... Yeah, no, we have nothing to sell right now, so no. And the turn chant of the Legion of Chaos. Oh, wow, you're far. Oh, are you going to attack our convoy? Don't do it. That would be tremendously rude. Hey, look, we found Malice, who doesn't seem to be super fond of us, but at the very least, he's not attacking our caravan here. But what we need to do is we need to get stronger and get some defensive allies. Make factions be more disinclined to attack us so that our caravans or our convoys are a little bit safer. Alright, Tower of Zharr, Astrogoth's dominance. Ooh, they've claimed a tower seat. They've done something. Be at war with the northern provinces? Can do. And will do. Faction destroy the Celestial Loyalists, and it looks like there's going to be a showdown between Village and Miao Ying. Oh, and in fact... Ooh, we need to take advantage of this. Okay, wait. You cannot use under air. Alright, go here. March stance. And, ooh, Obsidian Axe. Killed 3,000 enemies in battle. Lovely. And armor-piercing weapon damage plus 100%. The passive is quite nice. Damn, this guy's gonna get a very nice buff in terms of his capabilities, his fightiness. Now, what did these guys claim? They claim the Armor of Contempt. Armor plus 30, melee defense plus 24, immunity to psychology. Yeah, it's an army ability. Quite a decent one as well. Yeah, it's a pretty strong pick there. And then what about you? You've claimed the Winds of Magic Power Reserve. Kind of makes sense, I guess. I think for us, we will probably try to claim maybe Consul, just for the diplomatic relations, though I'll think about it. Otherwise, it'll be settlement building income, because once again, we need income at the current time. Anyway, Turtle Gate is ready for an upgrade. I was going to do this. You know what? While Miao Ying and Village are there, let's not waste our money upgrading this, just in case it just falls. Let's instead get to you, Ramparts. Up and running immediately, and then we'll need to upgrade you. Yeah. And I guess you can accept new labor as well. Oh wait, actually, don't bother. You don't need to accept new labor because you currently have nowhere that is, well, laboring, so, and that's fine. You are fine as you are, though we will need to upgrade. Wait, I'm clicking in the wrong place. Bloodwind Keep. Are we ready for you? Let's get the... It's tempting. Lots of this stuff is tempting. Kadai versus War Machines, but we gotta go with War Machines, especially since our Lord buffs the recruitment capabilities of them. Lovely. Next up, Recruiter Damon Zork is nearly ready. Our Castellan has also arrived and is ready to join Zhatan, who is going to lose one of these Orc laborers in favor of the Castellan. Technically, we can lose the other Orc laborer in place of the Oglacon's Wolf Boys, but I'd rather save the money until we actually need them in a fight. Which is not right now, obviously. Alrighty, and I believe that's ready for another end turn, unless we want to send out a convoy, which I don't think we do. Unless there's some really good... You know, let's just take a quick look here. You. Is there anything really nice here? Ah, medium threat. No, I don't like that. Great Call of Greases. No, it's all armaments traded for labor. That doesn't seem worth it. At least not at the current time. Black Crag isn't so bad. We could use the labor from this, and it'll only take 6 turns, which ain't too bad. We could also go with the Crystals. No, we cannot go to the Crystal Spires again. There's also Castle Drakenhof again, but it is also not giving us a crazy amount of money. You know what? Maybe. Maybe it'll be worth it to bring back. It's all green, so you should be fine. I just really don't want to spend that 1,000 gold. But I would like these guys to keep leveling and finding stuff for us, you know? Which is why I'm still gonna do it. Yeah, just do it. I don't like it when we have convoy slots and they're not doing anything. It just bothers me, damn it. Alrighty, well, I believe that is that. Scaff, you are going to be ready for a fight in a turn-ish, plus a couple turns, because you also need to get some dwarf units up and running, at least a few more dwarf units, and we will make sure to do that, as well as build some stuff out of the, increase their capacity out of the Hellforge. Anyway, skip. Who's leveled here? No, it was Pithek. I thought it was Zhatan for a second. Ooh, hello, what do we have here? Infernal Engineer reload skill will certainly be helpful. Gonna go with the reload skill right now. We don't have a lot of war machines as yet, though we will, and we have access to all the spells. Infernal Engineer. Oh, you can get Bale Taurus as well, for a regular Demonsmith Sorcerer. Nice. Let's end the turn now. And let's see what Village and Miao Ying does. If Village loses, his faction will be destroyed. But either way, it'll be fine for us, because I think we'll be able to capitalize on the fact that Miao Ying is currently fighting Village and destroy either one of them. Whoever loses will be destroyed by the other, and then we simply pick up the pieces and clean up the rest. Alright, what do we have here? You guys are fine in terms of your HP, so we don't need this. More Hobgoblin units? Oh, we already read this one. Let us go for numbers are superior. Good. Tree Hammers destroyed. I have never seen that one before. Must have been newly added. And Miao Ying has in fact succeeded at destroying Village, but she is in a weak garrison. Wow. Really? There's a Celestial Guard? Wow, look at this garrison. From the level 1, damn. That ain't too bad. That ain't too bad at all. That doesn't mean we won't be sieging them, though. What is disappointing, however, is we didn't get the Village defeat rate, which is plus something. Crown of Skulls. The one thing the vampire can't have in abundance is spent corpses and skeletons, which can be acquired as souvenirs by the Dawi Zharr convoy riders. Swell. Alright, well, you can have that. Alrighty, now are you able to go into underway stance? No. Alright, we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. We can't go into march stance, I think. I don't think we can risk Miao Ying attacking us with 50,000 Jade Warriors while... Are they max level? Oh, no. Actually, some of them are. These are level 9. What the heck? How the heck did that happen? How'd you manage that? Oh, good job to you. And she has a sky junk as well. But fortunately, we can knock it out of the sky. And turn it into junk. You, move out. We're moving towards Miao Ying. Hopefully, we can attack her next turn. We could also attack Po Mei while it's sparsely defended. We'll certainly have to give that some consideration, but that is certainly what we're going to do. Anyway, Recruiter and Damonzok, you are heading out. You are to transfer your troops to Scaff Ironpick, who is going to start taking stuff over. And damn, these guys have taken Blizzard Peak again. It's okay, we can attack Grimgor, though. We don't necessarily have to attack you in particular. Anyway, I think with that we are once more out of time. This is a pretty good place to end it because we have new wars available in the form of the northern provinces and the other Cathians. We have entered Cathay, and we're going to have some fun there. Next episode we will attack Cathay, as well as get this army up and running. We do have the money and the armaments now to increase our capacities, and got to increase our aggression and take more and more territory so that we get more of these seats. unlocked as fast as possible. Anyway, stay tuned for more Zhatan. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. Appreciate all the tips and suggestions. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.